pull up, grab the fuel nozzle, and get ready to fuel up on trends and strategies to grow your travel center business in this episode of the Truck Stops Here, brought to you by the NATSO Foundation. Now, here's your host, Amy Toner.
Hello, and welcome to today's episode of the Truck Stops Here. I'm your host, Amy Toner, and I'm so lucky I have my co-host, Darren Schulte, with me. Hey, Darren.
Hi, Amy. How are you today?
I'm good. Darren is the Vice President of Membership at NATSO. You are listening to the Truck Stops Here, the NATSO Foundation's podcast. The NATSO Foundation is the research, education, and public outreach subsidiary of NATSO. The podcast is just one of the many educational tools the foundation creates. Today, I'm also lucky that my guest is Nick LaFalce. He's the marketing manager for RaceTrac. Hey, Nick.
Hey, Amy.
Welcome to the podcast. We met at NATSO Connect, and you have this really great background in trucking and marketing, and I'm just really excited to hear about it. And we're also going to talk about the transition for RaceTrac, this 90-year-old retail convenience chains. You're moving into the professional driver and on-the-go traveler space, which is exciting. So tell us about it. Tell us about the RaceTrac Travel Center program and how it has evolved since 2018.
Yeah, well, thanks again for having me on, Amy. My role as a marketing manager at RaceTrac, I work on the campaigns and strategic initiatives team. So for those of you that don't know, I work to help market our RaceTrac and Raceway, our franchisee brand, the high-flow diesel sites that cater to professional drivers. The program is relatively new. We've had it since 2018. We've grown from our site in Lithia Springs out here in Georgia to over 70 sites, with sites coming later this month in Emerson, Georgia. So super exciting. For those of you that don't know, RaceTrac has a travel center program, and we also incorporate our extended diesel sites in there. So what that means is these are what we'd imagine as a larger format RaceTrac store with attached truck lanes that we cater to the over-the-road professional driver. And these extended diesel sites are what we'd imagine as like a regular convenience store with attached truck lanes. So it's been really exciting to see the growth of this program. RaceTrac and Raceway historically have been seen as a convenience store. I think my team and what I work on, we have the area of an opportunity to promote this great program for professional drivers and really expand our reach there.
Don't forget to tell them about your background. You have a trucking background,
right? A little bit about my background. I've worked in a company that did fleet telematics for construction workers and asphalt haulers, so worked here in Atlanta with the company. And additionally, I had spent the last few years working with a cargo control manufacturer, so we worked with flatbedders and dump trucks, making things that help prevent rocks from flying on your windshield. So if you ever get that happen to you, you can think about me.
So. I love that. So now that we know that RaceTrac is making major moves into the travel industry, what do you all find as the biggest challenge in communicating that you have truck stops, travel centers to the professional driver?
Well, I think one of the biggest challenges is, battling that marketing efforts that we do to position ourselves as a convenience store. I think a lot of our travel center and extended diesel sites look rather unsuspecting until you get on lot and you see a lot of the amenities we offer. I would also say branching our two brands, RaceTrac and Raceway, historically they've been seen as separate. I think for the professional driver and the fleet space, the two brands tie together quite nicely, offering convenient amenities for professional drivers. So I think overall, it's how do we communicate those amenities to drivers and the challenges of our existing marketing efforts to show that you're on the go, whatever gets you going kind of place.
So you're building on that really strong brand of RaceTrac and also sharing with this new audience. I think that's awesome.
I think so.
As a marketing professional with this driver experience, which I made you share about, I'd also love to hear how RaceTrac has enhanced its online and mobile experience for professional drivers.
Yeah, so we've had a lot of work going on to cater to the professional driver. Recently in April, we just relaunched our RaceTrac Rewards app, and with that, we added the functionality to select your driver profile. So what that means for many of you, if you were to go in and select professional driver type, we've re-enhanced the UI experience to show basically amenities at a more higher visibility, our locations. We have plans to, incorporate special offers for that segment. So, I think it's really cool to see that and, how we're designating a special type for users in the app. In addition, we've worked on a fleet services landing page. So that's kind of a page that we dedicate to the over-the-road professional driver and more that, talking about payment acceptance, where we have our high-flow diesel sites. really has been a great opportunity just to communicate and also talk about both brands. Historically, we haven't had Raceway on our website, but now this is one of our first areas of opportunity to combine the two brands and show that professional drivers that they can stop both at RaceTrac and Raceway, which I think is really cool.
That's awesome. I'd also love to hear about your efforts with billboards, like what messages, where, what were the challenges?
Yeah, so I think one of our biggest challenges that we have with billboards is communicating the amenities that we offer and also talking to both audiences, the professional driver and then your regular local traveler. I think when we talk with billboards, it's a matter of how we're highlighting the messaging, whether it's we're focusing on the hot food offerings that we have at our stores, also balancing the fact that we have travel centers in areas that we have regular convenience stores. So how are we communicating that one site is a travel center versus other sites that may not cater to the over-the-road professional driver? I think when you look at a lot of traditional truck stops, they have, they can talk about payment acceptance, their truck lanes, things like that. I think for us, it's a little bit more nuanced just because we have to balance the messaging to cater to the regular traveler and then the professional driver and show that we are fit for a professional truck driver, but also we have the opportunity to just be a regular grab-and-go convenience store. So I think it's definitely a challenge there.
A lot of operators, it's interesting that Nick referenced that, especially folks that are coming from the C-store space that may or may not utilize the a high-rise as an example, or a billboard. It's often new to them when they realize the power of a billboard. Even though they may have some interstate locations that are C-store focused, once they get in the travel centers. Yeah, so it's a big part of your marketing message, even in this day of digital world.
I think so, and it's balancing a lot of different messages, whether you're talking about the payment acceptance you have, the amenities you offer, trying to both attract the professional driver audience while also not alienating your regular consumer. I think RaceTrac sites, especially the travel centers, sit in a convenience space where we can appeal to what we call that front of the house audience, where they're using the regular convenience store front fueling canopies, and the back of the house professional driver audience. I think there's a lot of messages to balance, and it's something we're always iterating on.
Well, I would say I think one of the things you do really well is food, and food fast, and good food fast, and that's a message that speaks to everybody. And you guys honestly do food really fast. So just throwing that in there. So yeah, I got a quick question for you related to paid parking. So parking in our industry has been around a long time, and paid parking, believe it or not, has been around in some form or fashion for a good 20, 30 years. More folks are moving into the paid parking realm, whether that be reserved parking or just strict paid parking. Is that something that RaceTrac is having to look at?
Yeah, so I think I should backtrack it a little bit. So at our travel centers, that's about 20 of our sites, the high flow diesel sites, we do offer parking. I think it's something that is a challenge. I think we have to balance what our real estate team can find and source, and then also, whether we can, standardize that experience across the board. I think in an effort to do that, we've worked with several partners. I know one pilot program we have going on right now, we just launched in April. We're working with ParkX. At 8 of our sites, we're trying to make that experience more unified. This is between Georgia and Florida, where basically they can reserve via QR code. So, they can pay up to the 30 days. There's no requirement to go inside, things like that. I think we're trying to take that typical hang tag experience, trying to both enhance the experience for those on-site guest service associates, and then also for the drivers that stop by our sites. I know it's a hot topic. It's definitely evolved over the years, and hopefully it's something that we can fully automate in the future.
Gotcha.
As I mentioned at the beginning, RaceTrac graciously hosted us during NATSO Connect in Orlando, which was awesome. And we got to see a new store. It had a section merchandise for professional drivers. What was the thinking in merchandising that area?
Yeah, so I think our category team does a great job. We try to balance catering to the professional driver, whether that's offering cargo control accessories, compliance regulatory equipment for the professional driver, towards the back fueling canopy, but also for our regular, what we call the better than average Joe guest. We like to also offer things like travel merchandise, novelty items. I think it's always something we're iterating on, and we try to have a broad selection of items. I think the appeal of a lot of our sites is that they're in areas where we have regular convenience store traffic, where it's like the local traffic we like to call it, but we also have the on-the-go long haul, OTR audience, which we try to have a balance of merchandise for both audiences.
So I'm going to bring food back up again, because at NATSO Connect, we had the opportunity to see a fantastic location in Florida, right? And all the members were talking about your food, how good the food was, how quick it was, how just seamless it was. So I'd like to get your opinion about, what types of trends are you seeing in the travel centers versus the traditional C-stores? Are they the same for you all? Are they different?
Yeah, so I could definitely talk about that. I think one of the biggest trends we see is the hot food offering and the demand for it. Typically, when we look between a convenience store and a travel center, some of the trends we see where for a convenience store, things like tobacco lottery are some of our top performing categories, whereas for the convenience or the travel center stores and the EDOs, the extended diesel sites, we see hot food perform exceedingly well. I think that's why when we have one of our pushes to include such a vast offering of hot food. When you enter a site like Dunson, which is the Davenport site in Orlando, you'll first walk in and you'll see the pizza bar. We call that the advanced pizza bar. So that's something we like to, display our hot food offerings. And then, of course, we have our hot food case right next to it. I think this professional driver audience and also, what I'd consider the front court convenience store audience, and that could be professional drivers like landscapers, HVAC, things like that. I really think there's an appeal for that hot food, and it's one of the reasons why I think we really are driving a lot of the construction of these sites. It's really a top-performing category and something we see as a popular trend.
It makes such a big impression when you walk in the door, and it's like looks so inviting and open and clean.
Yeah,
I want to.
Yeah, it's definitely tempting, and I think it presents such a great opportunity. I think one thing we have that we've tried to iterate on is our legacy stores. So RaceTrac's been around for 90 years. A lot of the stores we have in Florida some of them are older, and we try to work to renovate them as we iterate on them. But some of them don't have the availability to, have a open display hot food offering. Sometimes the hot food's in a closed case. We don't have the tools to cook things in the back. So I think a lot of these travel center and extended diesel site renovations and also new constructions allow us the opportunity to expand that hot food offering and explore what the new areas of opportunity are. And I think we're always trying to iterate on that as well.
Okay, so before we know it, it'll be September and Trucker Appreciation Week. Can you tell us about RaceTrac's previous Trucker Appreciation events and also what you're planning for this year?
Yeah, so we've had many years in the past where we've done Truck Driver Appreciation Month. It's been a special focus for us since we've launched this travel center program. Historically, we talk about it as Truck Driver Appreciation Week for RaceTrac. We like to expand that and call it Truck Driver Appreciation Month. We've done a number of things, including on-site events for the drivers. In the past, for the last year, we've definitely done things like $4 meal deals, just trying to cater to that driver and let them know that RaceTrac is a place for them. We definitely have some hot things in the works, hot food offerings in the works for this year. Still finalizing those offers, but I think it's a great opportunity for us to, expand on saying the truck drivers are welcome to our sites. I think that's one of the biggest messages we're trying to push with those initiatives, and I think it's a great opportunity for us.
Do you get to go to the events?
So I've only been with RaceTrac for about a year, so hoping that this year that I can visit a site. But I know we have had on-site giveaways for drivers with one of our partners. We've tried things such as massage stations at the locations. We've just really tried it all and tried to see what drivers like the most, and we try to gauge them on what are the areas of opportunity where we can provide to you and say thank you. I know that's a big drive for this year's campaign, is to say thank you.
Awesome.
I'll share a funny idea with you that, again, back in the day, but you might enjoy during driver appreciation. Set up a race, a little RC competition. Drivers love that. So get a little bunch of RC cars out there and have them run around to the track and get a lot of laughs and fun there.
That sounds awesome.
Invite me and Darren.
Huh?
I said invite us. I want to go. I want to get the pizza, and then I want to do the track. I'll take a lot of photos.
And in addition to that, between our franchisee brand Raceway, we've also worked on doing a little more one-off events for professional drivers. Recently, we did a site out in Rockmart, Georgia. We basically did a one-off driver appreciation event for those OTR drivers at one of our Raceway extended diesel sites. It's been really cool to see what we can do, whether we're giving out coupons on site, just telling about the offerings that we have. It's really just a cool opportunity, and I think it's something that we will continue to explore.
fun.
That's fantastic. So speaking about plans, and before we let you go, do you mind sharing, if it's okay, any of RaceTrac's travel centers' plans for the future, past 2024, and expansion and so forth?
Yeah, so as you know, this year we've expanded to South Carolina and Indiana. I fully expect us to continue our Midwest expansion. I think it's a great area of opportunity for us, especially as we work in what we call a decentralized market. I think when we enter new markets, RaceTrac has a new area of opportunity where historically we haven't been known. So it's an area of opportunity for us to position ourselves as a new high flow diesel site, something that does cater to the professional driver, versus where we've been for the past 90 years historically advertising ourselves as a convenience store. Definitely areas like Indiana and South Carolina, it's just great areas of opportunity to build new sites and expand from there.
All right, so I think Nick already knows the fun questions are coming.
Yeah.
Okay, I like to surprise people, but I know you already heard them. Okay, what's your on-the-road snack?
I really like those Gardetto's rye chips. I think that's like my favorite thing, so those are really solid.
Okay. Do you prefer to drive or ride?
Drive.
Drive. Okay, how do you take your truck stop coffee?
Black.
Black. Okay, and if you're where are you based?
Atlanta,
so you probably won't get stuck in a snowstorm, but let's pretend it snows in Atlanta. What would you do if you're stuck at a truck stop?
I think I really just like to go out and watch what the drivers are doing. I think as a marketer, I think it's important to understand the behaviors of the audience that you're advertising to or marketing to. I think that'd be the biggest thing I do, just understand what their behaviors are and how we can better cater our experience to that.
Okay, and then we always end with our faux controversial question, which is it truck stop, travel center, or travel plaza?
I think travel center, personally, but that's, I think there is a truck stop, that is the thing. I just think for us, I think travel center is the better term. So.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you, Darren. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to today's episode of The Truck Stops Here. You can find us online at natso.com/podcast. If you have any questions, or if you want to be a guest, hope you'll reach out to me at attoner@natso.com. All right. Hi, guys.
The Truck Stops Here was brought to you by the NATSO Foundation, the research, education, and public outreach subsidiary of NATSO. The Truck Stops Here is produced by the NATSO Foundation in collaboration with Human Factor. Producers are Amy Toner and Darren Schulte.